One of my friend's sisters reported my fiancé to ICE because she thought it was wrong for me to be dating outside of my race and that my fiancé didn't deserve to be with me, and now she's wreaking havoc on us. I, 26F, am white and my fiancé, 31M, is originally from Japan but has pretty much been living here in the States since he was 13 and is a US citizen. I also have a group of friends from college, and in that group was a woman who we'll call Karen, 25F, who was the sister of our friend who I will call Ruth. Ruth, who is a genuinely nice person, was our friend, but her sister Karen was the golden child sibling who only hung out with us because she, Karen, cannot maintain oral friendships of her own, in part due to her antisocial tendencies, and their mom pretty much pushed us to let Karen hang out with us since Karen was jealous of Ruth having real friends, and we only tolerated Karen because of Ruth, who also didn't really want Karen hanging out with us. When Ruth moved here to the Northeast for college from Mississippi, Karen also followed her, and their mom pushed Ruth to let Karen stay with her. Unlike the five of us, Karen did not go to college with us, scoffed at the idea of higher education, and the only things she knew were what she saw online or whatever her boyfriend of the day was into. Over the years, since gradually became more and more hateful towards the LGBT, Jews and immigrants, bear in mind that my mom is an immigrant from the Czech Republic, thus we started distancing ourselves from her after first noticing it at around 2020 or so. Ruth unfortunately passed away in 2023 after a biking accident, but we continued to allow Karen to hang out with us because of pity, I guess, but a couple in our group outright cut her off after Ruth's passing, while the rest of us just tried to gradually distance her, hoping she'd get the message or get bored and stop trying to contact us. However, the breaking point was on October last year when Karen reported my fiancé to ICE because she thought or wanted to believe he was an undocumented migrant, and when we confronted Karen, the conversation boiled down to that she felt it was wrong for me as a white woman to be with an Asian man, and she felt that white girls like me should be with men who look like me, and she felt uncomfortable with how my family is very welcoming and accepting of my fiancé. I come from a very liberal, upper-middle-class family, and we'd often take my fiancé out with us on family outings, be it at our family's vacation home in Lake Champlain or sailing to Block Island on my grandpa's yacht. That said, Karen felt that someone of my status should be with someone who looked like me, saying that my fiancé didn't deserve my family, or words to that effect, and that she plainly said she wanted my fiancé deported so she could try to hook me up with a brother of her then boyfriend. Mind you, her then boyfriend, with whom she has a kid with, and his brother are misogynists who constantly shares Andrew Tate interviews, can't hold a job for long, yet expects women to stay home and know their place, whereas my fiancé works in mental health and I work for my grandpa's law firm. After that, the rest of us told her to F off, and up until the last week or two, we've gone NC with her. That said, after her boyfriend left her and their son, she showed up at my door with her baby one day to demand that since my family is well off, I should help her, buy her groceries, and asked my grandpa to give her a job since her EBT card wasn't working and her now ex vanished. I reminded her of how she tried to get my fiancé deported and how I'm not her friend, so she should just F off. Apparently, she's also been badgering others in our friend group, and her mom even called me, telling me off for not helping Karen and trying to justify what Karen did by saying she was just doing what's best for you. I then asked her that since she's Karen's mom, why doesn't she help Karen or take her back in, to which the mom said that her new boyfriend doesn't like having Karen or her other kids around. I reminded Karen's mom that Ruth was our friend but Karen is not, and we have no obligations to Karen. I'm so mad right now. Update. Before I update, I would like to address a common question from my last post. Why did we tolerate Karen for as long as we did? We were friends with her older sister Ruth, who went to college with us. Ruth was the kindest and nicest person most people would ever meet, but Karen, despite not going to college herself, traveled up here to the Northeast following Ruth because their hometown was boring. Basically, their mom wouldn't allow Ruth to have friends unless Karen was included, as Karen can't seem to maintain friendships or relationships of her own. Ruth unfortunately had trouble saying no to her controlling and manipulative mom, hence we tolerated Karen so we could continue having Ruth hang out with us. After Ruth passed away, we only tolerated Karen for a few more months, mostly out of pity, but even then, we were already trying to distance her from us by organizing get-togethers that didn't include Karen, not engaging Karen in conversation whenever possible, and basically hoping she got bored of us and would leave on her own. That didn't work, and admittedly, it was too passive. Also, I have no idea how EBT cards even work, hence I assumed it not working had something to do with the government. Now to the update. For this Valentine's Day weekend, my fiancé and I drove up here to my grandpa's vacation home in Lake Champlain for a few days of relaxing, hot cocoa, chill, and Netflix. Yesterday, my friends, who I will call Chantel and Kate, called me to say that Karen came back and knocking on Kate's door, demanding that we let Karen back into our friend group and support her, as well as demanding to speak with me and Luna. This time Karen came along with her mom, son, stepdad, and two stepbrothers, who decided to drive up all the way from Mississippi for this. Chantel and Kate told Karen that we don't want anything to do with her, as well as mentioning that Luna and I were away and not in town. They got into an argument with Karen and her family, with Karen's mom apparently calling Kate Kamala in a mocking tone. Note that Kate is mixed race as her mom is black and her dad being white, with Karen's mom telling them that since we were friends with Ruth, we for some reason need to do what she, Karen's mom, says and need to support Karen and her child. Chantel told Karen's mom that just because it was easy for her to manipulate and boss around Ruth, doesn't mean she gets to do the same with us, as we have nothing to do with Karen or her family. Additionally, she went on to say that if Karen is really so desperate for support, why doesn't Karen just move back to Mississippi with her family, with Karen replying by saying something along the lines of "I deserve to live the way you all live," and Karen's mom mentioning that her husband, Karen's stepdad, doesn't want Karen or her kid living with them. When Karen's stepbrother, upon noticing security cameras in Kate's house, started trying to rip out her doorbell camera, followed by Karen and her family running off when Kate's dad finally called 911. However, before they left, they used their truck to deliberately sideswipe Kate's dad's Lexus, driving into their garage door and Karen shouting, "People like you, Kate, don't deserve to live in a nice house like this," as they drove away. Given the gravity of the situation, I did notify my parents of what happened and that Karen and her family may try to come over to our home, as well as warning Luna as well. I also called the police back in my hometown on the non-emergency line of the incident at Kate's home, and that they, Karen's family, may try to come over again to my home, but thankfully they haven't done so yet. In turn, Kate and Chantel have also given statements to the police as well.